Welcome to Unchained Frequency. I'm your host, Malik Liberty. This is where truth cuts through noise and freedom begins with knowledge. Today's focus, why this podcast exists and what you can expect. Who am I? I'll keep it brief. My name is Malik Liberty. I'm just a man who's been through enough in life to know that truth matters more than comfort. I'm not here to impress you with a long resume. I'm here because I've seen enough lies, distractions, and systems meant to keep us chained down. And I refuse to stay silent about it. A few days ago, I came across a Facebook post of a man and his wife traveling in their private automobile. Notice I said automobile, not motor vehicle or driving. Words matter, and you must be extremely careful with terminology when dealing with public officials. In the post, they were pulled over by the police, what I call road pirates, because their real function is extracting and extorting the people for Federal Reserve notes. A discussion for another time. When the man handed the officer what appears to be his passport card or booklet, the officer immediately became agitated and accused him of being a sovereign citizen. That label is pure nonsense. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. It is an oxymoron. Whenever foreign agents falsely brand you with that term, you have grounds for a defamation claim. If they truly upheld the law, they would know that no one has the right to misrepresent your status or intent. That situation reminded me of my own experience this past June when I had a similar encounter. The officer quickly realized that I understood the Constitution, the true law of the land. I do not compromise when it comes to my rights, especially constitutionally protected rights. I don't care what their corporation or statutes claim. When it comes to the right to travel, it is not a privilege. It is a right. And no corporation or agent of the state has lawful authority to take it away. Maybe you felt that too. Like no matter what you do, the world wants to keep you distracted and chained. Why the name Unchained Frequency? The name Unchained Frequency came from that exact feeling. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with noise, political noise, media noise, social media distractions, and that noise, it keeps people locked in fear, confusion, and control. Unchained means breaking free of that. It means cutting through the static so we can tune into what really matters, truth, freedom, and inner strength. And frequency, that's what we all carry. The energy we live on, the voice we put into the world. This podcast is about raising that to something higher, something real. It's like when you're trying to find a clear radio signal, but all you hear is static. That's life today, static everywhere. This podcast is about tuning into clarity. What's the static in your life right now that you need to break free from? That's a question. That's something you need to sit back and contemplate on. For me, there was a turning point, a moment where I realized I couldn't just sit back and live quietly while watching so much deception take over people's lives. I saw people, good people, falling into traps, being misled, losing hope. And trust and believe me, I know all about hope. And I had to ask myself, if I stay silent, am I a part of the problem? That was the moment I knew I had to create this space. A space where we're not afraid to say the hard things. A space where people can come, hear truth, and walk away stronger than when they tuned in. Now that you know why this podcast exists, let me tell you what you can expect when you tune in Unchained Frequency. 1, contact pillars. I built this podcast on 3 pillars: truth, faith, and growth. Every episode you hear will connect back to one of these. Why? Because if we're serious about freedom, we can't just look at one side of life. We need to deal with the lies of the world. We need to protect ourselves spiritually, and we need to discipline ourselves to rise above weakness. That's the foundation this space is built on. 2, truth about the world. Let's be real. We live in a world filled with deception, distractions, and systems designed to keep us blind, whether it's politics, media, or cultural pressure. So much of what people are told to believe is meant to control them. On this podcast, I'll call that out. I'm not here to be polite about lies. I'm here to pull the mask off them. That doesn't mean I'll just complain or rant. It means I'll show you how to see through the noise and reclaim your ability to think for yourself. 3, faith and spiritual protection. We can't fight battles in this world without spiritual protection. Fear has taken over people's lives, and fear is one of the biggest weapons used to control. But the truth is, strength doesn't come from fear. It comes from belief. On Unchained Frequency, I'll share ways to stay grounded, rooted in faith, and protected from the plots that try to pull us away from what's real. This isn't about pushing religion on anyone. It's about showing that when you stand firm in something higher than yourself, you can't be shaken by fears or lies. 4, self-growth and discipline. Because freedom isn't just about exposing lies or believing in truth. Freedom starts with responsibility. If I don't discipline myself, if I don't take care of my body, my mind, my habits, then I'm still chained. And the same goes for you. On this podcast, we'll talk about breaking cycles, building discipline, and living with strength. Because if you want to rise above the systems around you, you have to rise above the weakness within yourself first. 5, style, raw, authentic, unfiltered. And let me be clear, this podcast is going to be raw, authentic, and unfiltered. I don't believe in sugarcoating truth. I believe in respect, but I don't believe in watering down reality. So if you're listening, expect real conversation, expect honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, because that's the only way growth happens. 6, the goal. My goal with Unchained Frequency is simple: to wake people up, build courage, and give practical steps to live freer and stronger. I don't just want you to listen and nod your head. I want you to walk away from each episode with something you can actually use, whether that's a new perspective, a new discipline, or spark of courage to face the world differently. If even one person breaks a chain after listening, then this podcast is doing its job. So that's what you can expect here: truth, faith, and growth, delivered raw and unfiltered, with the goal of helping you live unchained. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with the promise of something you can count on every time you listen to this podcast. 1, respect for your time. You won't find fluff here. You won't find wasted episodes of filler. Every time you press play, you'll know that the next 20, 30, or 40 minutes are going to matter, because your time is valuable. And if you give it to me, I owe you something real in return. And I'll try to do my best as much as I can to make sure that happens. 2, challenge, tools, and perspective. Every episode is going to do one of 3 things: challenge you, give you tools, or make you think differently. Sometimes you'll be uncomfortable because truth isn't always easy to hear. Sometimes you'll walk away with a new way of seeing the world. And sometimes you'll have something practical you can put into action the same day. But one thing is guaranteed: you will never leave an episode the same way you came in. 3, a community of the unchained. This is more than just a podcast. It's a community of people who refuse to stay chained, people who don't accept the illusions, the lies, or the systems meant to break us. Here, you are not alone. You're a part of a movement of people who want freedom, real freedom, and are willing to face the truth to get there. And that leads me to this one promise. I'll always keep at the heart of Unchained Frequency. If you want freedom, you must face truth, even when it hurts, because the truth may sting for a moment, but lies will enslave you for a lifetime. That's my commitment to you. No fluff, no change, no empty talk, just truth, tools, and courage, delivered in every single episode. That wraps up the very first episode of Unchained Frequency. Thank you for being here at the start of this journey with me. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. And do me one favor, share this podcast with at least one friend who's ready to wake up and hear the truth. You can also connect with me on X, Instagram, and other platforms. Just search Unchained Frequency or check the links in the description. Until next time, stay grounded, stay free, and keep your frequency unchained.